My name is Toyose Labeodon. I'm the principal immigration consultant of TrueLink Immigration Services. TrueLink Immigration Services is also known as TrueLink Travel. We're a Canadian-based immigration firm. We have a head office in Edmonton, Canada, and we have a branch office in Ibadan, Nigeria. TrueLink is actually a TrueLink to the world. So if you have plans to relocate abroad, you have plans to study abroad, you have plans to visit so many tourist sites all around the world, or invest abroad to become a permanent resident, we're actually the true link that you need to achieve this. As I said earlier on, our head office is in Edmonton, Canada, and we have a branch office in Nigeria, precisely in Ibadan, Nigeria. So for those that are yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, I want to encourage you to do that. I also want to encourage you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Our handle is at TrueLink Travel. You can see it on your screen at TrueLink Travel. When you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our social media handles, you would actually get regular updates on things that has to do with relocating, studying, visiting, or investing abroad. So just go on to our pages, follow us, like our pages, subscribe to our channel, and you will always get these updates regularly. Yeah, so let me go on to today's topic. What led me to decide to talk about what I'm talking about today? I had a prospect who came to my office about 2 weeks ago, and he had about 40 million naira in his account, and he was shocked that his study visa to Canada was refused. So when he came to me, he was like, "What does Canada want?" That was the question he asked. That I have everything. I had everything, and they still refused my visa. In fact, he did it by himself because he was so confident that his visa was going to be approved. So I told him to sign his documents to me. Let me look at what he submitted, and review it, and see what I think might be wrong. I went through the documents he submitted, and instantly I picked it. He had he's printed the statement for 1 year, and in the history of the accounts or the bank statement that he submitted, the highest inflow into the account was about 4 million. But just few days to submitting his application, he had over 40 million naira enter the account. That's a red flag. So went on to request for the backend note, the GCMS note, and when we saw it, that was the exact thing that was there. So proof of fund is really very important when it comes to approval, refusal of visas. It is very important. And that's why today I'm going to be talking to you about 5 things you need to know about proof of funds when you plan to study in Canada. 5 things that you need to know about proof of funds if you plan to study in Canada. No country wants people who will be liabilities to come to their country. Most, especially the developed economies, everybody wants people who will come in and make a positive contribution to the economy. So when you are not able to show that you have good proof of funds, or you're not able to defend how you got a proof of funds, it becomes actually an issue. So today, as I said, we're going to be talking about 5 things you need to know as regards proof of funds when you're planning to study. So the first point I want to talk to you about is don't try to keep it to the minimum. Yeah, if you have more than the minimum, please show it to them. I'll use an example now. For if you are coming to study in Canada, if you are studying for 3 years, you are expected to show your proof of funds. You're expected to show that you can pay your school fees for 1 year, and also show that you can finance your living expense for 1 year. Now, let's say your school fees is about 15,000 Canadian dollars, and your living expense is $10,000 for 1 year. If your study is for 3 years, officially you are expected to just show 25,000 Canadian dollars. Now, that's the minimum. If you have more than that, please show it to them. The reason why I said this is because Canada visa is a non-appearance visa. You cannot go there and explain to the visa officer that is going to review your work that, oh, I have more than that. I just followed your protocol. Some of them may decide not to follow the rules. Some of them may feel, oh, you're going for a 3-year course and you're just showing funds for this. Even though the rule says you should show for 1 year, but if you have more than that, show it to them. So you will not have the chance to defend what you have written. You will not have a chance to talk to them one-on-one that, oh, this is, or explain to them about what you are submitting. So if you have much more than the minimum, it's better to show it to them. That is one good advice. Then, when you have so much funds in your account or anywhere, if your proof of funds is showing that you have so much, it's in a way it proves to the visa officer that you will not become a liability when you come to Canada. So many people come to study in Canada, and at the end of the day, they are not able to pay their school fees, or they are not even able to pay for accommodation or take care of themselves while in Canada. And no government wants anybody to come to Canada and get stranded. And that's why, from the beginning, they want to be sure that you have all the resources that you need to study in Canada. And that's why they ask for all that. So, my first point, as I said, is don't keep to the minimum. Don't show them just the minimum. If you have more than the minimum requirements, please show it to them. So the second point I want to talk about is be careful when you have to pay lump sum into your account when you are about printing your statements. This is what many people do. And just like the story I told you about when I started, he had over 40 million naira in his account, and his visa was refused. And the reason why the officer refused it was because the officer felt in the issue of this account, he printed 1 year statement. 1 year. There was only one instance where 4 million came in. A week to your submission, you now sent in 40 million to your account. It's a red flag. They're going to flag it. But there are ways to go about it. Even if you are paying funds into your account, there are things you need to do. One of the things you can do is give an explanation. How did you get that fund? Did you borrow it? Is it that your parent gave it to you or your spouse transferred it to your account? You need to explain. You can't just pay in so much money into your account and not explain or explain to you. Unfortunately, just like I said earlier, you will not be there to defend it. So you have to write and explain to them that, okay, this money came in on these dates. This was from this, for this, for this. You need to explain what the money was from and from who the money came from. This way, and why they send the money to you. And this way, you might be able to get an approval because you have explained the source of the fund. And it's not just explaining alone. You might need to show evidence of the source. You might. If someone is paying so much money into your account, what does the person do? Where did the person get the fund from? Where does it work? So it's not just about saying, okay, you paid. If I actually don't encourage that. I don't encourage that. I tell people, some people come and bring statement where they pay in the money that same day and they printed the account that same day. That is a very big red flag. You paid in large sum of money the same day, and that same day you are printing it. The money needs to sit in your account. In fact, I always tell my clients, The minimum, if you really want to do it well, leave the money in your account for 3 months. Yes, after you have paid this thing, leave it there for 3 months. Let it sit down there. But if you cannot leave it there for 3 months, you can still manage like 30 days, but with explanation. You might, yeah, 30 days might still be fair, but if you leave there for a minimum of 3 months, it's better. In fact, the new program that Canada introduced recently, the Student Direct Stream, Nigeria Student Express, that's Nigeria Student Express. It requires that you should have the money in your account, the money for your study for 1 year, and your living expense for 1 year in your account for 6 months. 6 months. They want each day that your principal spent in the last 6 months to have a minimum of $30,000 Canadian dollars, which shows that they feel that if you have the money in your account for 6 months, it actually proves that you have the funds, you have access to the funds, and you can finance your education. So if you cannot do 6 months, do 3 months. If you cannot do 3 months, maybe like 30 days, it can still be explained. But you have to explain the source of the funds if the money is not actually from you. So the third thing I'm talking about is proof of funds does not have to be cash or money in the bank alone. No. There are some people that don't really have cash, but they have other things that are actually worth more than cash. What are the examples of these things? Some of us have lands, some of us have houses. It's an investment that you can turn back to cash. So imagine you have a house that is worth 50 million naira or 100 million naira. That is part of your proof of funds. I said earlier, give them everything that you can give them. Even when you have cash in your account, give it to them. So if you have lands, you have houses, it's part of your proof of funds. Add it to it. But you won't just add, I won't just ask you to add just the documents alone. You can add documents. At the same time, you can go on and valuate those property. So they actually have an idea of the value of what you are sending to them. They won't know. You have said you bought a land, you added the agreement, or you added the documents of the land, C of O, or the red copy, or deed of assignment. You added it to it. They will not know the value of the land or the house or the property. Get an estate valuer to value the house and add it to it. That is part of what you can use as proof of funds. Some of us have pension funds. I had a client that had pension funds in excess of about 50 million naira. That is proof of funds. Yeah, even though you cannot have access to all the funds if you retire today, but at least there's a percentage that you can have access to, maybe like 25% of it, depending on the rules they are using at the time you are trying to apply. So you can also use that. You can use that conveniently. So pension funds is one of the things that you can use. If you have pension anywhere, add it to it. Some of us are doing cooperative. We have joined one or two other people to you put money into a pool, and the cooperative society, they manage it for you, and you are able to apply for loans from them and all that. Get the data from them, add it to it. That's part of your investment. It is. That can also serve as proof of funds, yeah, as long as it's verifiable and genuine. There's some of us, we earn good salaries. I had a client that I got a study visa for the son, and I think he had just like he had like 500,000 naira in his bank statement as closing balance. But his salary or his monthly salary, it's in millions. We're able to show all that, and that was coming into the account that we use. It was coming to the account that we use. So it's something that the officer will see, but we have to pinpoint to it and see. Yeah, he has a closing balance of this, but every month this person earns minimum of this every month. It's yeah, that's it. We added this payslip to it, and they got the visa. So for those that earn good salaries too, add your payslip, add your show evidence that you are earning salary. If you can add that to it, and that can also be used as proof of funds. Many of you have also paid school fees. Maybe you have paid part of it or you have paid all of it. Add it to it, add receipt to it. It's part of it. There's something they do in Canada for not for all countries. For some countries, like India, Nigeria, and some other countries, GIC, Guaranteed Investment Certificates. You can transfer money from your home country into an account in Canada, which is your own account, which you opened. They open it for you, and you transfer money from your bank accounts in your home country to the account here in Canada. You can add that to it. If you can do that too, add it to it. You see, when you are doing an application that you will not be able to see the officer who is reviewing it, then why don't you give him everything he needs to review your work and give you the result that he wants? Why are you holding on to some? Put everything down there. If you can do GIC, add it to it. Those are the things that shows that you have the strength and you have the capacity to pay for your study, and you will not become a liability on the government when you get to Canada. So some of us have assets like cars too. Yeah, a car is an asset. Some people drive cars that are worth 35 million, 40 million, 50 million naira. It's an asset. It's something. Add receipts. Add the receipt of it. Put the documents there to show that, oh, this is the value of this car. It's part of your proof of funds. Part of things to show that you are doing well where you are. And as I said earlier on, Canada or any country where you want to go and study wants to be sure that you are doing well where you are. They want to be sure that you are going to go back to your country of origin when you are done with studying anywhere you want to study. Nobody wants a liability. So those are things that can actually help to show and prove that you are doing fine. So if you have cars, put the documents there. Your parents have cars, add the documents to it. I said this, some people drive cars of 40 million, 50 million naira. Yeah, it's part of it. Then you can also add receipts of things that are valuable that you recently bought. Just check, look around you. What are the major things that you bought that are, for example, you are building a house, you are buying a lot of materials. Those are things, whatever some of the equipments you are buying, you can add the receipt up and show them. These are things you are doing here. It shows that you have things going on back home that will bring you back. Because one of the a study visa is a temporary visa. And when you say a temporary visa, you must prove to them that you're going to come back. So those are things that they want to see. And when they say all this, they are like, okay, well, this one looks like he has things going on for him. He will go back at the end of his study. Let us give him the visa. So the first thing I want to talk about is the length of time for your bank statement. If you are using bank statement, if you're adding it to it, the minimum bank statement required is for 4 months, minimum 4 months. Most times I use 6 months, and if you have more than that, we can print it, we can use it. But the minimum you can use is 4 months. So don't go and just give them 1 month statement and think that they would approve your visa. You need to give them minimum of 4 months. But the one I use 6 months or even more than that. But if you are going to use anything, don't use anything less than 6 months. So look at the last 6 months, the last 4 months. Don't use anything less than 4 months. I mean, look at the last 4 months and let it be current. Don't go and print. This is September. Don't go and give them statement of January to April 2021 and say you are giving them 4 months. No, most recent 4 months. So now, if I'm submitting an application in September, I can print my statement to today and print it back and count 4 months backward or 6 months backward. September, August, July, June. So I'll print from June, July, August, September. But make sure that the minimum you send to them is 4 months. If you can do 6 months, it's better because it shows your transactions, and they can use that to decide to see. They can use that to see whether you are doing fine and decide to give you the visa based on that. So the fifth point I want to talk about is who can provide proof of funds for me. Can I use a sponsor? That's what many people ask me. Yes, you can. But when you're using a sponsor, you need to justify why the person is sponsoring you. So who can be my sponsors? Your parents, your spouse, your uncles, your aunties, your friends. But don't forget what I said. You must justify why they are sponsoring. Why do I want to spend $30,000 on you? Yeah, why? Why do I want to give you $30,000 to go and school in Canada for 1 year? Why? You should ask yourself that question too. That this person that wants to sponsor me, why? What is his interest in me that is willing to give me $30,000 to go and study? You need to put it down on paper and show it to them. So not just saying, oh, I have an uncle, I have an auntie who is going to sponsor me, but why is the person sponsoring you? And when the person is sponsoring you too, many people make a mistake. Yeah, someone wants to sponsor you, and let me talk in naira now, or let me talk in dollars. Someone wants to sponsor you, and your school fees and living expenses are $30,000, and your sponsor has just $31,000 in his account. That won't fly. It's not like going to fly. If the sponsor gives you all the funds in his account, he has his own family members, he has his own priorities. So the officer will not believe that you really have a sponsor. He's not going to believe it. Why? Because someone that has just $30,000 in his account or $31,000 in his account, and at the end of the day, you want to sponsor somebody, you want to give the person, you are claiming that you want to give the person $30,000, and at the end of the day, you are going to have just $1,000 left in your account. The officer may not believe that your sponsor has the capacity to sponsor you, and on that basis, is likely going to refuse the application on the basis of assets and financial reasons. So that's one of the things you need to look at, that you can use a sponsor, but you must justify why the sponsor is sponsoring you. Don't just go and say, my uncle is sponsoring me, and I've added this bank statement to it, and that's all. No. Show evidence of what your uncle is doing. Show evidence that he has assets, he has so many other things to also prove that he's doing fine where he is, and he has the capacity to sponsor you. And he should have much more than what you need in his account, because he has his own family members, he has his own business, he has his own priorities. He also needs to spend money on those things. So those are things that you need to watch out for when you are trying to get your proof of funds settled for study application. So don't forget, as I said earlier on, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Our handle is @TruLinkTravel. You can see it on your screen, @TruLinkTravel. We have so many updates on our social media handles and on our YouTube channel. So please just subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on this social media platform, so that you can always get those updates when we post them. Thank you. So I would answer the questions that you have now. Someone said, can someone not related to me stand as a proof of fund guarantor for me? Yes, I mentioned that. Yes. Someone that is not related to you can be your sponsor, but you must be able to defend why the person wants to sponsor you. Why is this person sponsoring you? Find out. You must write it down. You can't just say someone that is not related to you is sponsoring you. What is the base? Why is the person interested in sponsoring you? You must write it down. Find out. You have to give a good reason that is convincing, not just saying, he just said he was going to sponsor me. Why did he say he wants to sponsor you? You must give concrete reasons that the officer will. In fact, I always tell people, when you write all those reasons, you yourself read it and read it, or give someone else to look at it and ask the person, does this sound convincing? If it's not convincing a friend of yours, how do you think it's going to convince a visa officer? It's going to be tough. So anyone can sponsor you, but make sure that you can defend why the person is sponsoring you. Very, very important. Someone said, I guess you are talking to politician children. This is not helping poor Nigerians, my brother. I agree. Not only Canada, there's no country that wants poor Nigerians or poor people to come to their country to come and study, because you have to pay it. I mentioned earlier on, the average school fees in Canada is about 15,000 Canadian dollars. Your living expense is 10,000 Canadian dollars. So the minimum you ever need is 25 to 10,000 Canadian dollars. A poor person cannot afford that. It's a fact. So you need to look for a sponsor, or Go and work harder, save money over the years, and work, be hardworking, get funds, and also get to the point where you can send your kids to schools abroad. Let's talk about the private universities in your home country. Are they for the poor people? No. Private universities, if you hear how much they pay, some of them are charging fees in dollars, and it's millions. Let's now talk of international education in developed countries like Canada, USA, and UK. Canada school fees is one of the cheapest around the world. Compared with US, compared with UK, wow, it's cheap, very cheap. So we're not talking to professional children. There are people that want to study here who have the funds for, and that is why the visa officer, that's what he looks out for. He wants to look out for people who can afford to pay their school fees, people who can afford to finance their studies. That's what they want, and that's why they are doing interviews, or that's why they are reviewing the documents you are sending in to be sure that you can afford it. If you come here and you cannot pay your school fees, they will chase you out of school. You become a burden to the government. They don't want people like that to come. So someone said, "Thank you for this very informative and enlightening video." Thank you too. Someone said, "How can I open an account in Canada while still in Nigeria?" Okay, just go online, type CIBC, CIBC, CIBC. It's a bank in Canada. CIBC, then type CIBC, then type GIC. GIC is Guaranteed Investment Certificate. If you type that into Google, it will take you to the website of that bank, and the website will tell you the step-by-step guide of how you can open an account from here in Nigeria or anywhere you are in the world, and you can pay money into it, and they will give you a guaranteed investment certificate which you can add to your visa application. These are things that, you see, that way the embassy can confirm that the money is really, you really have the money. Why? Because the money is already in Canada. So that's a good way for the embassy to confirm that yes, this person is a genuine student, or yes, this person has the funds to finance his studies. Not like he just went to get a document or get a bank from someone who is saying he's a sponsor or whatever. So you can go to their website, as I said, go to CIBC websites. Just type it in Google, CIBC stroke GIC. It will bring it out. You can read it, and you can open a bank from where you are, and you'll be able to transfer funds from where you are into the account and have access to that funds when you get to Canada. Someone said, can the sponsor use more than one account for proof of funds? Current account, domiciliary account, corporate account belonging to the same person? Yes, you can. As long as, yes, you can. Those are things that will explain that, yes, it's obvious. If, for example, I have multiple accounts too, so I can print my different statement from 3 or 4 banks, add it to it. If one of the banks is not enough to take care of everything, even if one bank is enough to take care of it, I'll still print it so that it can show that yes, I can pay for my living expense and conveniently pay my school fees. Someone said, can you help with letter of purpose? Yes, contact us. Yes, we can help with that. That's one of the things we do very well. We can guide you on that and help you with that. So contact us and we'll help you with that. Someone said, is there any document that sponsor will give to support the student aside statement of account? Yes. Your sponsor will not just give you statement of accounts. No, it won't just, yes, it will not just give statement of accounts. What does your sponsor do? Is he a business person? Let him show us his business documents. Does he have assets to? Let him give it to you. That is, someone that is sponsoring you has to be close to you. Someone that is sponsoring you should know you very well and should be able to give you those things. So it's not just statement of account. You need more documents from the sponsor. Then you even need a document. You also need a document. You might also need a document that shows the relationship between you and the sponsor. Yeah, those are things that they ask for. What's the relationship between you and the sponsor? Document it and show it with documents if you have. Someone said, can my brother who is a citizen be my sponsor alongside my own bank? Yes. Use as much documents as you have to show them that you can afford this. So if you have, even if you have a proof of funds yourself, and you have somebody in Canada who is your brother who also has funds and can say, "Oh, I'm here just in case she has issues. I'm here to support her. This is my bank statement. This is where I work. This is what I do." Yeah, that is fine. Someone said, "Can such money be withdrawn anytime from Nigeria?" Such money be withdrawn anytime from Nigeria. Well, you are the money you are paying into the bank in Canada, the CIBC account that I mentioned, is for your study. So when you come here, you can withdraw it. It's a guaranteed investment certificate. I think we'll do a seminar on that one of these days so that we'll be educated about it. So watch out for that. We'll do a I will work out a seminar on that talks about guaranteed investment certificates for study visa application. So you can get full details about that. That's a seminar on its own. So I want to encourage you once again to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Our handle is at TrueLink Travel. You can see it on your screen. So please follow us so that you can regularly get updates on our seminars and also on all the updates that we post regularly. So okay, sorry. Let me just answer this last question. I just saw one question again. Someone said, if one is not giving you visa, how will I get your money? You get your money back. The banks will transfer the money back to you. So easy. If your visa is not issued and you have transferred money to the bank in Canada, you are transferring money by yourself. Nobody's helping you to do it to your bank. You get your money back. So thank you all. See you during our next seminar again. Thank you.